So today we're going to be learning some different oil pastel techniques. So these are the different ways you can use your oil pastels. So you're going to need a box of oil pastels, you're going to need a pencil, you're going to need a paper clip that's been opened up, a sheet of scratch paper, it could be something out of the recycling box, and your sheet of paper. Now as you go to work today, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the very center of our paper. And you'll notice I have my paper in the vertical direction, so it's in the tall, long way. So when a paper is in the tall, long way, it is called vertical. And then I'm going to find the very center of my paper with my finger. In the center, I'm going to draw a circle. Not a very big one, but not super tiny either. I want to be able to put some color in there. Now in our first circle, we're going to do something called light pressure. Now you can choose any of your oil pastels that you want. I'm going to go ahead and use my light purple one first. And so for my light pressure, when I go to press, I'm going to press very lightly, almost like I'm tickling my paper. So I tickle my paper and I fill it in. And so that is one way I can use my oil pastel with light pressure. Now I'm going to make another circle around it. Now I'm going to use my same oil pastel. You could use a different one if you want. It's your choice. Now in this one, when we fill it in, we're going to use something called heavy pressure. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm not going to press so hard that I break my oil pastel, but see how much brighter the oil pastel is when I use heavy pressure. So it will be much more vibrant. So you can see you can use light pressure or heavy pressure. Those would be two techniques. Now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add another circle. This is our last circle today. And in this circle, I'm going to use a technique called stippling. Everyone try saying stippling. Stippling. And I'm going to choose a color. And stippling is just making lots of tiny little dots. And you're going to notice that stippling is loud. And I go all the way around. And if I want to use more than one color, I can. I could stipple with several colors. So stippling is when you make tiny dots. Now we're ready for our next technique. So now we're actually going to make, oh, what do you think that is? If you guessed a flower petal, you're right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make 5 big flower petals. So we have 1 big flower petal, 2 big flower petals, 3, 4, 5. So you want to make 5 big flower petals, and we're going to do something different in each of our flowers. So the first thing we're going to do is something called color mixing. So we're going to take 2 colors, and I am going to use my dark orange and my light orange. It's nice when you have 2 colors where one is lighter and one is darker, but you can choose which colors you would like. And I'm going to use heavy pressure. And I'm going to take and color in part of it. And then I'm going to take some heavy pressure and color in the other direction. So right now I have not mixed them. Now I'm ready to do some color mixing. So I'm going to take my light color and I'm going to bring some of my light color into my dark color. And I'm going to start to mix them. And if I want, I could take a little bit more of my dark color into my light color as well. So this would be called color mixing. Now you're going to notice when you're finished, your dark crayon or your dark oil pastel won't really have very much or anything, another color on it. But if you look at your light oil pastel, you might notice that you've got some dark orange on there. So we've got to clean our oil pastel. So to clean it, we come onto our scratch paper and we take and we just rotate it around until our oil pastel is clean again. See how my oil pastel is clean? I'm ready for my next one. So that was color mixing. So now we're going to go ahead and do something called sgraffito. Sgraffito. You can try saying that if you want, sgraffito. So I'm going to choose two colors again. Now this time I want to make sure I use a light color and a dark color. So my light colors would be like my pink, my light orange, my yellow. I'm going to want to choose one of those three colors. I think I'm going to choose pink today. And then I'm going to color one of my petals with heavy pressure. And I'm going to fill it all the way in. You want nice, dark color. If you use light pressure, this technique will not work very well. So I color that in. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose a darker color to put on top. And I think I might use some blue. And I'm going to use heavy pressure coming on top of my pink. And I'm going to go and cover the whole thing up. Now I'm going to take that paper clip, and with my paper clip I can take and make designs, and you'll see that the pink will come through. So I can do a light design, and I can also take and do a design where I scrape out even more. So see how I'm scraping out? So that is called sgraffito. Now after you do it, you might find that you've got a lot of little pieces of oil pastel built up. And I even have some big chunks over here too. So I'm going to do something called tapping off. So I bring my scratch paper over, I take my paper, I lift it up, and I tap it off. And see how all the little bits come onto there? And now this paper is clear. All right, I'm ready for my next item. So I'm going to do something called white plus one color. So I'm going to choose a color, any color that I would like. And I think for this one, I think I want to use this color. And then I'm also going to need my white. Okay, so I have my dark purple and my white, but you can use any colors you want. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what happens when we mix a color with white. So I'm going to first take my dark purple in, and I'm going to use some heavy pressure. And I'm going to fill in one of my petals solid with a color using heavy pressure. Now I can go ahead and take my white. Now watch what happens when I take white into it. I'm going to do just part of the way. See how it starts to soften that color? And if I want, I could take a little bit more of that purple in there. Going back a little bit. So see how I can blend white with a color, and I can make it light at one end and dark at the other. Now, when I'm finished with that, you're going to notice, oh my gosh, the white is so dirty. So I'm going to take my scratch paper. I'm going to take and I am going to clean it off. Now my white is nice. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do black with one color. So I'm going to get my black oil pastel. I'm going to choose another color, and I think this time I'm going to choose red. You can choose anything. Now in this petal, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to use heavy pressure, and I'm going to fill my petal in with red. Now, once you get it filled in, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did the last time, but now we're going to do it with black. So I'm going to come, and black is very strong, so you don't need very much, okay? So I'm actually going to go a little bit lighter with my black, and I'm only going to go part way. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my red now, and I'm going to start up the where it's the lightest, and I'm going to start to blend it in. So see how I can make shading happen. So I can blend in some black. So we can go from a lighter red into a darker red. Now when you finish, your whatever color you use is going to be very dirty. So once again, we bring in our scratch sheet, we twist our oil pastel around, and then it will become clean. Then we can put it back into our box. Now I'm noticing that I have a lot of buildup, so I'm going to bring my scratch paper over again, and I'm going to tap it off. I have one more petal to do. In this petal, let's go ahead and do, so in this petal, we're going to go ahead and do something called scumbling. Everyone say scumbling. So in scumbling, we take one color and we make squiggly little lines, kind of like we're making a great big giant long worm. And this is called scumbling. Try saying scumbling. And then after you scumble one color, if you want, you can scumble another color. There is our scumbling. Now at this point, if you want, you could take and practice and color different colors into your background, or you could leave it white. So I'm going to leave mine white, but if you want to, you could go all the way out here. Now at the very end, if you want to, if you really want your flower to pop, you do this after you color all of your colors, or if you're leaving it white, you can take your black oil pastel and you can trace over your pencil lines. And then your flower will pop out a little bit more. You don't have to do this though, only if you want to. So let's review the different kinds of oil pastels that we did. We did light pressure, heavy pressure, stippling, color mixing, sgraffito, white plus one color, black plus one color, and scumbling. Those are several of the oil pastel techniques that you can use. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye-bye.